Mr. Chancellor, it's my great pleasure to present to you Professor Arthur McDonald, distinguished astrophysicist and scientific leader. Professor McDonald holds the Gordon and Patricia Gray Emeritus Chair in Particle Astrophysics at Queen's University and was the director of the Sudbury Neutrino Observatory, or SNO. In 2015, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics with Professor Takai Kajita of Japan for, quote, the discovery of neutrino oscillations which show that neutrinos have mass, a discovery that solved the long-standing puzzle in neutrino physics. Neutrinos are particles with no electrical charge that interact very weakly with matter. This makes them extremely difficult to detect. Since the 1960s, scientists had calculated the number of neutrinos created by nuclear reactions in the sun. However, the measurements made on Earth could only detect 1/3 of the calculated quantity. Where were the missing neutrinos? This discrepancy could only be explained if neutrinos change identity as they travel from the sun to the Earth. If this is occurring, then it meant that neutrinos have mass, contrary to the predictions of the standard model of particle physics. This suggestion remained speculation until Professor Kajita and colleagues performed their measurements on atmospheric neutrinos, and the research team led by Professor McDonald at SNO in Sudbury performed their measurements of solar neutrinos. Under Professor McDonald's leadership, SNO developed what I can only describe as a truly beautiful experiment. Not only is it a truly beautiful experiment, but is a truly made in Canada experiment. In order to prevent signal contamination from cosmic radiation, the SNO scientists placed 9,500 detectors in a tank containing 1,000 tons of heavy water 2 kilometers below the Earth's surface in a mine in Sudbury, all directed and managed and orchestrated by Canadian brainpower. Of the 60 billion neutrinos per square centimeter that reach the Earth every second, SNO captured only 3 per day in its first 2 years of operation. The results from this experiment provided clear evidence that the solar neutrinos do indeed change their identity by the time they reach Earth, and further that neutrinos have mass. This result was groundbreaking because it revealed that the standard model of physics cannot be the complete theory of how fundamental constituents of the universe function. Like all milestone experiments, the SNO results have created new questions, new experiments, and new theories. Professor McDonald's contributions to science have been acknowledged in the form of many awards and honors. In addition to the 2015 Nobel Prize, he's been appointed as a Companion of the Order of Canada and awarded the Bonner Prize of the American Physical Society, the Ensor Hertzberg Gold Medal for Science and Engineering, the Benjamin Franklin Medal in Physics, and most recently, the 2016 Breakthrough Prize in Fundamental Physics. The conferral and acceptance of an honorary doctorate is a reflection of shared values of the most profound nature. As a pioneer of our understanding of the fundamental components of matter, Professor Arthur McDonald is an inspiration to us all at McGill. His association with McGill makes us very, very proud. Mr. Chancellor, I present to you Arthur McDonald so that you may confer upon him the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
It's now my pleasure to call upon McGill's newest graduate, Dr. Arthur McDonald, to deliver the convocation address. Dr. McDonald.
So I notice that there's at least one diploma in meteorology that's graduating today. I hope your prediction is that this downpour will stop by the time our ceremony is finished. Chancellor Meehan, Principal and Vice Chancellor Fortier, Mr. Cobbett, Chair of the Board of Governors, Dean Lennox, proud parents and guests, and most of all, members of the graduating class of 2017. I'm very pleased to receive an honorary degree from McGill today and to join all of you as an alumnus of this very highly respected university. McGill has set a high standard in education and in research throughout its long history, and I'm honored to be associated with this great institution. But really, today we're here to celebrate your achievements. You are now university graduates after years of hard work and concentration. You have wonderful prospects in front of you as you prepare to use your education to provide leadership for our country and the world. In the next few minutes, I'd like to mention to you a couple of things that I've found useful in my career in scientific research and education, and hope that you'll find them of value. You'll find that it's easy to get caught up in the numbers or the technical details or the sheer effort of whatever it is you pursue as a career. However, it's very important for you to keep your perspective on the human impact of your work, whether it's for an expansion of man's understanding of the universe, as we've tried to do, or any other contributions to society for which you use your skills in the future. You'll also find that interactions with others and consideration for them is essential for your success, just as essential as the detailed application of your hard-earned knowledge. So let me mention a few simple things to bear in mind as you proceed with your career. First of all, you should have clear objectives motivating your work, and ensure that you understand and enjoy the way in which you are contributing to society. Second, be curious. Never stop learning or limit the scope of that learning. And third, as leaders of the future, you will be the leaders, but you must bear in mind the importance of the respect and consideration for all members of your team. So let's take these points one at a time. First, it's essential that you always understand clearly why you're pursuing your career path. You should have clear objectives, and it should be something that you enjoy personally. As in my situation as the director of a large scientific project, I was often called upon to provide 30-second sound bites explaining our research. And I suggest to you that you should be able to explain what you're doing clearly to your next-door neighbor, who by definition is not an expert in your field, in just a couple of short sound bites. At the same time, you'll provide yourself with an understanding of why you're doing it. Be ready to answer that reporter's question about why is it important, and why are you so enthusiastic about doing it personally. Make sure you're having fun at all stages of your career, and if not, find a new direction that is fun and is also personally fulfilling. Our team in the Sudbury Neutrino Observatory, or the SNOW project, had a clear objective motivating us for more than 20 years. We wanted to detect the fundamental particles called neutrinos that are produced in enormous numbers in the sun, and we wanted to determine whether the original flavor of neutrinos that were produced in the sun were changing to other flavors before reaching the Earth. We found this to be true, and it is a new physics result that requires changes to the standard model for elementary particles, and it implies that neutrinos have a non-zero mass. To do it as a team, we had to produce the lowest radioactivity location that had ever been built. An ultra-clean laboratory the size of a 10-story building, 2 kilometers underground. By maintaining our focus and motivation, we were able to accomplish this major physics result and also show that we know with great accuracy how nuclear fusion powers the sun. Confirming these basic physics processes gives us confidence that we'll be able to harness this nuclear fusion process for new power source here on Earth. Our experiments at the SNOW Lab Underground Laboratory are now aimed at observing the dark matter that we know makes up about 25% of our universe, but appears to be a totally new form of matter beyond our description of the universe as we know it at the microscopic level. So having clear and motivated objectives will help you succeed and also can help you to have fun with whatever you do. So my second point is that you must continue to be curious and seek to learn new things. You've just breathed a sigh of relief, or you will in a few minutes, because you have just completed your last examination, and they're over. However, I assure you that a satisfying and successful life requires that you continue to build constantly upon the things that you've learned here at McGill. In my area, for example, it's been essential because our view of how the universe is composed and how it evolves is fundamentally different than when I was an undergraduate 57 years ago. Yeah, 57 years. Neutrinos were barely known when I went to university, and now I'm pleased to say that the results from the Sudbury Neutrino Observatory are featured in Canadian high school textbooks. Extensive change will also be true in your field because progress has accelerated tremendously, and it continues to do so. Remember, a university is primarily a place where you learn how to learn. Now that you have that ability, where's that meteorologist? Now that you have the ability to learn how to learn through the very personal education you've obtained at McGill, continue to be curious, learn new things, and your life and your career will be enriched. Having served on the recent federal panel on fundamental science, I'm encouraged by the positive attitudes of the federal government towards evidence-based decision-making and a supportive system to provide that evidence for future decisions in basic science, innovation, health, humanities, and social sciences. I think Canada is headed in positive directions, and that your generation will have a good climate in which to follow your career paths. So continue to be curious and develop new ideas. You'll have excellent opportunities to follow them here in Canada. Thirdly, you'll be leaders of tomorrow, and you should think carefully about how you develop those leadership skills. The development of teamwork by showing respect for your whole team will be very important in your future occupation. You may have the tendency to feel that now that you've developed a status as a university graduate, that sets you apart, and of course you'll immediately become a leader. Well, I'm reminded of the story of the university graduate who arrived at their first job and asked the supervisor what they should do. The supervisor said, "Oh, you arrived just in time. The container over there just spilled and we have to clean up that dangerous material right away. Would you mind just getting the broom and sweeping it back into the container?" And the person said, "But I'm a university graduate." The supervisor said, "Oh, in that case, let me show you. You hold the broom at the end here and you sweep like this." We created the lowest radioactivity laboratory in the entire world by going underground and then making the entire laboratory an ultra-clean facility, cleaner than a hospital operating room. If we didn't, we would have had levels of radioactivity that would make our experiments impossible. Therefore, I can say, and I have said on many occasions, that the people who clean the floors in our laboratory are just as important as any other member of our team for the success of our experiments. I learned by leading a 200-member team of international scientists, staff, and students, and a construction and operations team with a very different skill set, that diversity is very valuable. Canada is a country that is open and welcoming and respects diversity. Reflect that also in your life and in your work, and you'll reap the benefits that come from the wide range of capabilities that diversity brings to your team. If you respect all members of your team, you'll generate from them the respect, in turn, that enables you to lead. There's a fascinating poster in a hospital in Kingston that spells out the golden rule in essentially every religion, creed, and culture in the world. It's a universal philosophy that I think is the most important aspect of being a leader. Treat others in the way that you would like to be treated yourself. It's a very simple approach, and it works in all situations. So you're now embarking on your next adventure. Have a clear knowledge of your objectives, continue to be curious, and respect others. You'll do very well. And above all, have a good sense of humor and have fun. Thank you.